and say hello. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Coach, first and foremost, what we like to do with all of our teams here on YSN for the first time, we want to get a chance to sort of meet the team and what we expect to see on the field for Jackson Milton softball this year.
Yeah, we're excited. We have a couple girls that are returning this year. We have both of our freshman pitchers from last year coming back as sophomores, Riley Headley and Michaela Thornhill. So they've done a lot of growing in the last year. It's pretty funny to see them as sophomores now, just how much just confidence wise and just looking older too. So they're both back. We have Mia Greco, Emily Foltz, Paige Grope. They're all three of them. They're juniors. They're coming back for us. And then we have 3 seniors this year. Kylie Wilson is coming back. Last year she joined us. And then we have a new senior joining us, Sarah Rader. So she's going to be a good asset to us as well. And then, of course, Chelsea Williams. Chelsea's our shortstop. And she has actually she's the first player that I've had from freshman to senior year. So it's been special. But those are all of our returners. And we have a couple freshmen and sophomores that will be stepping up for us. So we're kind of figuring out where everybody's fitting right now. So we're excited.
When you look at that roster that you just went over and you look at players that you're going to look to lead this team, whether it be vocally or emotionally or lead by example, who are some of the players that you're going to lean on to be leaders of this team?
I mean, definitely our juniors and seniors for sure. In the off season, Kylie and Chelsea were doing their thing for basketball. So I didn't get them until beginning of March, really. So I relied heavily on my juniors. So Emily, Mia, Paige, they kind of carried us all through winter workouts. So they did a fantastic job. And then now that I have my 3 seniors all together, they've really stepped up. So just expectations, they set the tone for the team and for our younger girls, and they do such a good job. I know that I can rely on them just to get things done the way that I expect it to be done. And they've been awesome so far.
What's your biggest takeaways from last season going into this year? And what are some things you want to try to keep at the same level you were at last year and some things you might want to improve on as well?
Well, I think last year Anthony, we talked about this last year when I called in. Our hitting was atrocious last year. Our team average was like barely 200. We've really struggled at the plate. And for us, I think it was just mentally. Because when we're in the cage and we're at practice, these girls hit so well and they know what to do at the plate, but it really is a mental game when they get up to the plate. So we've been working on that, just being more confident. That's something that we've truly been working on all winter. So hopefully we can grow and progress throughout the year and work on that team batting average. But when it comes to defense and pitching, I think that was really strong. And we always talk about how that kind of kept us in some of those games. Crestview, McDonald, Springfield, like we really battled with those teams, and it came down to defense and pitching, but we lost a lot of games because of our offense. So we're trying to find the balance there to win some of those games that we possibly could have won last year.
To be fair to your offense, those 3 teams you just mentioned have very, very good pitching staffs.
They are. No, and that's what I said. I mean, all of the teams that we didn't necessarily, maybe win or do our best at the plate. Like, I know we could do so much better. So, that's where the expectations come in. And when my seniors and my juniors step up and they're like, all right, we need to get this done and figure it out. So we've been working on it. That's our goal.
When you look at this offense, every team kind of has the offensive scheme or what they're strong at. Is it more of a speed thing? Do you think you have more power? What do you think is going to be like the strength of this offensive lineup that you're putting together?
I would say power, honestly. We have a lot of girls that hit really well and make really good contact. My thing is just they have to produce hits. And last year we kind of struggled with that. So it was tough. I'm in the office and the lights just turned off on me. Sorry. But that with power wise, we have some speed as well. I mean, Chelsea Williams is so quick around the bases. Mia Greco has the longest legs ever. So she takes like 3 strides and she's from first to second. So we're going to rely on that. I just want to move around the bases and produce hits and produce runs and do that the best we can.
Coach, I mean, just looking at this team going into the season, would you agree? I mean, out of all the sports we see progression going through the years too, but sophomore, junior year is usually a big one too for a lot of students in sports. Would you say that 1 year in the sport of softball can make all the difference in offensive numbers in a turnaround season?
100%. Yeah. I mean, even like I talked last year a lot, like Riley and Michaela last year, their freshman year, they were 14 coming in. And I was like, all right, put the team on your back because you two are our pitchers. And they were two of our most consistent hitters as well. So I really relied on them last year. And like I said, their growth from freshman to sophomore year is insane to me. And then last year, our juniors now, Mia, Emily and Paige, when they were sophomores, they kind of last year, that was their first year as varsity because their freshman year was our COVID year. So even then, last year to this year, they have more varsity experience. They are a lot more confident. So there's a lot of growing that goes on, I would say specifically from freshman to sophomore year and sophomore to junior year. So I'm excited to see kind of what these girls do.
All right, so let's talk about this pitching in the circle that you have that's returning and so young and got a lot of experience last year. What kind of things do you? I mean, I always have to get better. What kind of things do you want these pitchers to get better at, improve at, and stay strong in this season?
I think just being more confident in the circle, and that definitely they grew a lot from beginning of last year to the end. I think there's different things for Riley and Michaela to work on, and they know it because I say it every practice. But for Riley, she's really been working on being confident in her rise ball, and making sure that all of her pitches are kind of working because there's times where it maybe necessarily wasn't clicking for her. And I tell her, I'm like, it's fine. Like if a pitch isn't working, we'll fix it. Like they get it out this game. Her to be just more confident and not hold herself so to this high standard and just go out and just do her thing because those two did, like I said, they blew us away last year as freshmen. So just working, we've been doing pitchers and catchers, and I just want them to be more confident in their pitches and just be ready to throw whatever we're wanting to throw.
Often we talk about how coaches are able to teach these girls, and not only the X's and O's of the game or the on-field stuff, but what they're able to take with them outside of the coaches for the rest of their life too. So what are some things you try to teach outside of the sport of softball that you hope your girls take with them for the rest of their lives?
We talk all the time about life things, and I think that it's different when you coach high school girls, I think, compared to high school boys. So the girls always have, things they bring to practice, whether it's home or boys or friend issues, whatever it is. But I always tell them, like, when you're here, this is your escape. Like these four walls when we're in the gym or when you're inside the lines on the field, like everything else doesn't matter. When you're here, like this is your, hour and a half, 2 hours to just be with your team and leave everything else out there. But, I want them, I would hope, I think they know that I'm always there for them. And I truly am like one of their biggest supporters, and I want what's best for them at school, at home, at practice. So we talk about just about everything. And, I think for them, I just want them to be confident in themselves, not just in softball, but in life. And, never expect anything to be handed to you. When you go to a job and you want a position or you want something, you have to work for it. So, just little things here and there. I get a lot of my sayings from my dad from growing up. So I always tell them, like, that's a Coach Chick line. So I hope that maybe since it's instilled in me, I can instill it in them too.
Coach, let's talk about this schedule that you guys have put together and some of the teams that pop on. Obviously, we know your conference is full of really good teams and really good pitching, but talk about this schedule, some of the non-conference teams you're playing, and how much do you think it'll prepare you for a postseason?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be facing a lot of good teams this year. I think we have Lisbon, we have Newton Falls, Columbiana, the ones that aren't in our conference. So, I mean, they all are great teams, but it's nice to kind of see that as well. So it prepares us for our conference. And because like you said, it's a tough conference. We have, Waterloo, Springfield are always tough ones, McDonald, our battle with Western Reserve every year. It's always, we have to be on our game for those. So when we're playing those games that are non-conference games, it's kind of nice to see different competition and gets us ready for tournaments as well.
We know every great coach can't go as far as they do without a great support system around them. So we want to give you the chance to highlight some of your assistants and some other big names in this Jackson Milton softball program.
Yeah, I have Karina Kennedy. She's my varsity assistant, and Amelia Minenti, who is my JV coach. So I have those two. They were with me last year, and they were incredible. I think us three together, we think the same way. We have, the same expectations for the girls. So it works so well. And I always throw out my dad. My dad is like my go-to for everything. I call him after practices and after games. And when he comes to games, I'm like, all right, I want your opinion. What do you think? What should I change? What do I do differently? So I would say those three are definitely my backbone, and I would be completely lost without them.
All right, Coach, we wish you the best of luck this year. We thank you for coming on to give us a preview of the season. Not too long away. I mean, scrimmages probably start next week for you guys.
It's crazy. The 22nd is our first one, so at home against United. So I'm hoping our field dries up by then.
Hoping it warms up a little bit too.
That's what I said. It's supposed to be 70, so I'm crossing my fingers. Maybe a couple of days of warm, full dry.
70 and dry would be just awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Best
you got
of luck
it, Coach.
Coach.
We'll see you again soon.
Okay.